Good morning, YouTube. I missed you guys so much last week. I hope you had a wonderful break, a wonderful New Year's. I am back in this week, unfortunately, without students. We are virtual this week. I understand why. I guess it's necessary, but it is very unfortunate and I am very sad about it. I am very hopeful that next week we will be back in person, but our numbers are very, very high here in New Jersey. And so I've been planning all virtual lessons this week. I have made some changes to my virtual instruction since last year, and I'm excited to share them with you because I feel like this week went a lot more smoothly because of those changes. So I have to actually get ready for the day. One of the things that I'm going to talk to you guys about in this video is my daily check-ins and my daily checkouts. And so that has made a huge difference in my online virtual environment. So I actually have to prep one for my CP class and my AP class. So I'll be sure to check in with you guys a little bit later and show you what I've been creating this week. I just finished with two of my classes. I had my CP class and I had my first AP class, and this is one of the only days that I don't actually have a lab period. So I thought I would come on here and tell you about some changes that I'm making to my virtual classroom. So first thing, I think you all know, like, nobody really wants to be virtual. We're all, I think, suffering in terms of our mental health and our motivation. I know me, I'm definitely feeling bad and sad, and I miss my kids, and it's such a hard thing because I know that we want our students to be safe and the numbers are incredibly high, so we need to do what we need to do, but at the same time the kids are really struggling to learn, and it's really causing an issue with me being able to connect with the kids. And some kids are not logging on and they're just kind of disappearing, and it's definitely interfering with their education. So I think we're kind of getting to the point where we need to decide, like, which is the lesser of the two evils. But we're virtual this week and who knows what's going to happen next week. But I will say I feel a lot more confident this time around. Last year when we were virtual the whole year, I was struggling so much. I think part of it was because I was spending a lot of time creating content. A lot of the stuff that we did with our students, it was really brand new stuff that I had to make digital. I was creating all new video content for students, both for the AP class and the CP class. And so this time around, I have a lot of that stuff already made. So it's making my life a lot easier, and I can spend a little bit more time developing things for social emotional learning. Because my students are struggling so much with what's going on and being virtual, I am trying every day to incorporate some social emotional learning. And the way that I'm doing that is using Nearpod. I've talked about Nearpod on my channel before. And so what I'm doing now is I'm trying to really keep the lines of communication open. Just send out a daily question asking the students, tell me about what's going on in your life, tell me how things are going. And so I'm calling these check-ins. So every day the students have a daily check-in and they have a daily checkout. And so I share a Nearpod link with them. It is teacher directed, meaning that I'm changing the slides, and then as I change the slides, it'll change on the student's screen. The students do the check-in first. Maybe they answer a question, like how they are, for example, pick an emoji that best describes how they're feeling. But what I've been trying to do is adapt some of my daily themes into my Nearpod. This is my Nearpod library of different lessons and things I've created over the years. And so since we've been virtual, I've been creating daily check-ins every day for my students. And so today is Thursday, so I did a Thankful Thursday one. Yesterday was Wonder Wednesday, so I did like a Wonder Wednesday, like a topic that the kids wonder about, like, for example, why do ice cubes not fall out of the sky when it snows? And so if I click on just one of these, maybe I'll go to this one. Let's see if we go to preview here. And so I started the class with just an open-ended question, right? Just asking how they are, tell me how they're doing. And then once they complete that, I had a video that I wanted the students to watch answering the question, how come snowflakes don't look like ice cubes? And so the students are able to play this on their device. I did select that the students select to play it. And then we transition into the class period from there. And then after we like do all the stuff that we're doing in class, the very last like 5 minutes of class, I do a daily checkout. And so the checkout is going to look something like this, another open-ended question. Now this is 3, 2, 1. So I asked them to share like 3 things they learned, 2 things they found interesting and liked about the content, and then 1 thing they still have a question about. But I have done other checkouts, which I kind of like. So like, for example, the first day, this was the first day of virtual learning this week. I had them think about choosing 1 little word for their resolution. So that was like their introduction. I had them tell me what their 1 little word is. And then at the end of class, about 5 minutes at the end of class, I just asked them this question. So it takes about 5 minutes. How did today go? Do you have any questions? And this was important because after I had them complete this, the very next day in class, I did a Jamboard with them. Here's an example of an answering your question type of Jamboard. So when my students ask their questions the next day in class, I start out the class period after the daily check-in creating a Jamboard and just talking about some of their questions. So these were actually questions that I copied and pasted from their Nearpod checkout yesterday. And so I just go over them. And I've seen the students really appreciate the fact that I'm going over it because they're like, okay, I'm not as confused anymore. At least they tell me that in their daily checkout. I also think that it helps them to realize that I'm listening and reading everything they're writing to me. I'm still creating a daily agenda every day for each of my classes. The only thing is I am cutting down on the amount of time that I'm spending on that because obviously I'm doing the daily check-ins and the daily checkouts. Now for my agenda, it's just now a single slide, and then each day of the week has its own column. So I'm listing out all of the activities and the different things that we're doing and in order of how we'll be doing it in class, so that if a student's absent or can't make it to the Google Meet, they at least know what we did in class. But instead of making every single slide and like looking for backgrounds and quotes and activities, I thought instead I'm going to be focusing my time on some of the social emotional learning by creating those Nearpods, so that now I can really focus on creating those and kind of minimize how much time I'm looking to create the daily agenda slides. Overall, I feel pretty centered. I'm not feeling completely crushed by the amount of work that is going into preparing for the classes for a change. I'm feeling a lot better about things. I'm feeling a little bit more confident, like I have a better idea of what's going on with my students, and I have a better idea of like how they're feeling. That's why I really feel like the daily check-in and out has been a total game changer for the things that I'm doing this week. Who knows how long this is going to last, but I definitely anticipate maybe another week. I'm so hopeful that that's not the case, but I know that we need to keep our students safe. So with that said, if you would like to try any of the Nearpods that I've created, I would be happy to share them with you. So I am going to provide some links down below. I'll even include a link to some of my themes for the different weeks. If you wanted to try some of them with your students, I can give you some ideas of things you can do. But I feel like incorporating that social emotional learning aspect into your class during these very difficult times can make a huge difference in understanding how your students are thinking and feeling. So I need to get ready for my next AP class. Please let me know if you have any questions. Please let me know if there's any topics that you'd like me to do a video on, anything else that you'd like me to share. You can just leave a comment down below. Either way, I will definitely check in with you guys next week. Thank you so much for watching, and stay safe.